So if you watch the Game Awards, I mean, obviously Microsoft didn't have like a ton of like horses in the race or anything like that. It's unfortunate, but it's just one of those things where I think Microsoft does have a pretty bright future with some of the games they have coming. And I feel like it's a little bit odd that Microsoft didn't have a little bit better kind of appearance and kind of better announcements for the simple fact that, honestly, they were in a situation where, Microsoft was kind of non-existent. I don't want to say like totally non-existent, but they really weren't in a place that was like they were previous years where they were announcing stuff like Blade and things like that. I mean, there was, of course, the Outer Worlds 2, but, again, that was kind of an announcement that included PlayStation, which is, odd to me since that game was originally announced as an Xbox exclusive. And then you kind of look kind of past that a little bit, and you just see that Microsoft has kind of made some weird choices along the way, but overall, I feel like, they still do some pretty good stuff in terms of, how they handle different things. And again, to me, I think that this is like how I feel about it. And if you feel about things differently, then that's fine. But again, the fact that they were kind of low in talking about stuff, it just kind of leads credence to this. So we've heard some of this previously, and it looks like there's going to be a developer direct, and there's going to be some major games from Xbox being announced there. So people were kind of interested in this and kind of maybe questioning why Xbox didn't go like huge or whatever with the Game Awards, and now we kind of have a bit of that idea why. Now they had been doing developer directs sort of at the beginning of the year, and apparently they're extremely happy with how those things are going. And I can't really say I blame them. They can control the narrative, talk about what they want, share what they want, and then basically kind of get away with whatever they want to talk about. So I feel like that's probably the way that they want to keep it, and that's probably the way that they want kind of fans to see what they want to reveal to them. So for me anyway, I look at this and I say, okay, well, I think that's cool, able to kind of go out there and say, hey, we've got these games or such and such a game for Xbox coming down the pipe or whatever. But again, they have, if all is said to be believed, this upcoming year would be like one of the best years all time for Xbox first party releases. And so with that being said, you would definitely want to maybe count on the announcements and things like that they were going to do. So because again, you have South of Midnight, you have deep dives you could do on that, you have deep dives you could do on Avowed, hopefully, where you can say, hey, we got rid of that guy who literally hates half the country, and we're addressing that, something along those lines. But you've got those games, you've got the new Doom game, you've got the new Fable. I really, even though a lot of people aren't fans of remasters and stuff like that, I really am surprised and kind of shocked that Microsoft did not do remasters or remakes of the first Fable games. Like, I don't understand that thought process. You want people to be interested in interested in the platform, and interested in this game that's making a comeback next year, but you didn't bother to actually go out there and give people a reason to really look forward to that. I thought it would have been easy for them to remaster or remake those games. You have so many studios or whatever, get people excited about the prospect of Fable again. It's like I said, all very weird to me. Some of the the weird decisions that they make. But it's not up for me to really kind of say one way or the other how things kind of will handle or go out. It really kind of comes out to what Microsoft wants to do long term. And I feel like they've got some plans, but I also feel like those plans might not always work out the way that they kind of hope. So again, I would expect supposedly there's going to be 4 or 5 games there that they're going to showcase for Microsoft, and we'll see what happens. Like I think people are ready to kind of get there and maybe back Microsoft up a little bit more now that things are kind of going the way that they are. And that's going to be, I think, good for the industry. That's going to be good for everybody. So that's kind of like where I'm at with all of this right now. It's just very hopeful that they can kind of deliver and kind of get things like that. So I wish they maybe would have had a little bit of a stronger type of E3 or whatever. Not E3, but Game Awards. Because they realistically had become such a fantastic job of kind of showcasing stuff, showcasing how gamers are getting like these games or whatever. But I think there is a bunch of stuff that we want to see again. What's also weird to me is that Everwild in particular, which was announced in 2019, doesn't have a 2025 release date, which means we're waiting at least 6 to 7 years for that to be released. And there's also Contraband, which we have not even seen gameplay for these games. You know what I mean? So it really kind of depends on where we kind of go for those things. But again, it really kind of comes down to what they want to do. And I have to admit, I kind of like how they handle the game announcements and things like that through the directs. If you guys remember years ago, they used to do those terrible shows that were so cringe. They'd have all the weird hosts and stuff. It never really made much sense. I can remember one in particular kind of sticks out was when they did State of Decay 2, and it was just the most awful thing I had ever seen. And yeah, it really was pretty bad, to say the least. But at the end of the day, we'll see. It's one of those things, how they kind of work out and how things work out in general for Microsoft with this kind of tactic. And like I said, sometimes it's a bitter pill to swallow. You take the good with the bad. I personally wouldn't mind seeing something for Outer Worlds 2. I guess we'll probably only see stuff that's more or less coming in the earlier part of the year. But honestly, the one that I'm most eager for is finding out more about the Fable reboot, because I just want to see if if that's something that honestly happens to offer different things. We've heard rumors that that game's going to have a full character create option, and a lot of us kind of are looking for that from after seeing the protagonist and thing like that. A lot of us kind of want to see how that kind of works out, if we're going to actually be able to kind of be able to create a character and things like that. So I hope so anyway. That's what I want to see from Microsoft. I want to be able to see them kind of do some things that we haven't seen before, and people get excited for the games again. I think Indiana Jones has done a good job of getting people excited for the future. It's just really up to Microsoft to be consistent and make sure that gamers have the stuff that they want to play. It's just honestly, it doesn't sound like it's that difficult, but it could be extremely difficult for some of these companies, in my opinion. So Microsoft doesn't seem to get it doesn't really seem to get through a day without kind of embarrassing themselves somewhat. So we'll see what happens. I would love to hear your guys' take on this. Would you guys have liked to have seen more from the Game Awards, or would you rather wait for their own first party directs that they've been doing? Because I think a lot of people really kind of feel that way. They like the direct. I like the direct. I think that the Game Awards is pretty cool, but again, I feel like the directs more handle a lot more questions and things like that, whereas some of the game announcements at Game Awards really tend to kind of showcase more of like hiring spree type situation. You know, they're like, hey, we're working on this game that we just started 24 hours ago, but if you guys want to work for us, here's the number or whatever. You know, so I feel like that's what a lot of those announcements that early are for. But let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Grab Gamer out.